Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Reina and today we are going to be talking about how early work experiences can help your autistic teen or young adult enter the workforce. So many parents can feel uncertain about when or how to introduce work experiences to their autistic teen or young adult. Entering the workforce doesn't mean that you're pushing your teen into full independence or paid jobs before they're ready. There are many ways to start that process slowly. So today we're going to talk about how early workplace exposure can build skills, shift mindsets, and develop confidence long before employment becomes a pressure or something that needs to happen right now. Early workplace experiences are safe practice for adulthood and also help with brain development, executive function, and small step learning, which creates independence over time in a more gentle way than just pushing your child to get a job right away. So a little bit about us. We are Autism Services for Teens and Young Adults. We are licensed occupational therapists. We have many years of helping autistic teens and young adults develop life skills, executive functioning, and workplace readiness. We have a deep understanding of neurodevelopment and many creative strategies for supporting real-world independence. You can visit our website if you're interested in learning more, which will be linked below. You can connect with us or just look at all of our resources. We have plenty of them up on the website. So let's talk about why early workplace experiences matter more than job readiness. The goal isn't to get a job right now. The goal is to create early exposure to workplace expectations in a manageable, low-stress, low-pressure way. These early experiences can reduce fear and build familiarity, which are critical for autistic teens who thrive on predictability. Workplaces can naturally create opportunities to practice these skills. At a job, you might follow routines, use communication skills, navigate social expectations, or problem solve when things don't go the way you planned. Having early supported exposure to these things lets teens try these experiences when pressure is low, not when they're suddenly expected to be independent adults. Parents often think their teen must be fully ready before stepping into a workplace, but actually we feel that the opposite is true. Early exposure builds that readiness so they can go into an actual paying job feeling confident and comfortable. Small successes can also create identity shifts. Just your mindset changing is a huge game changer in having the confidence to do something. So in your mind, going from I can't do this and getting frustrated, shutting down, to I can figure this out with support, or this is hard, but I know I can do it. Huge mindset shift that happens when you learn to overcome some of those challenges in the workplace setting. So, what are the benefits on brain development and executive functioning? Workplaces support the brain's development by activating planning, sequencing, attention, and problem-solving pathways in the brain. Repeated workplace routines strengthen neural connections related to executive functioning. And small challenges in work settings can build cognitive flexibility over time. Some of the skills that work environments naturally support are task initiation, such as starting without repeated reminders, following multi-step directions, prioritizing tasks or learning how to prioritize tasks based on their importance, managing distractions, shifting between tasks or adjusting when plans go awry or change, time management and pacing, and emotional regulation when frustrations arise. Early exposure to the workplace can help build these skills. They provide meaning, so the tasks feel purposeful and like they're going to be useful for something later on. They create natural repetition, which strengthens neural pathways, which just means that because the brain is getting into the habit of doing those things, the next time you do it, it's going to be easier. So you practice something over and over, it's building a neural pathway for your brain. Then when you do it again, your brain kind of automatically knows how to do it, or it's much easier. Workplace exposure also provides feedback and reinforcement and can help teens understand the why behind task demands. So, parents should start by identifying their teens' specific challenges, especially with executive functioning. So, do they have difficulty starting tasks? Do they struggle to remember steps, multiple steps? Do they become overwhelmed with verbal instructions? Maybe they just need to ask for written instructions instead. Do they get stuck when something unexpected happens or frustrated? Do they shut down emotionally during mistakes? These kind of questions are things you need to ask yourself so that you can help your teen understand and get practice doing those things in a safe environment so that they can build those skills before getting into the workforce. Match opportunities to your teen's challenges. That will make what they're learning meaningful to them, and again, you're giving them a safe environment to practice those challenging skills. So for example, if your child's challenge is sequencing or knowing what to do next, in an open-ended task, you can help them find jobs that have tasks with predictable routines. For communication challenges, you can help your child find roles with simple check-ins or scripted interactions. If they have emotional regulation challenges, you can find them low-pressure volunteer roles with space for breaks. And it's important to remember here that the goal is not performance, it's growth. So we're just here in these initial stages to learn those foundational skills. It's not to get the best job and do all of that. That's for later. So why does starting early matter? When workplace exposure begins early, the stakes are low. There's no pressure to earn income, be perfect, or manage everything alone, which creates a psychological safety. Teens feel allowed to learn, try, make mistakes, and adapt to new challenges. This kind of early exposure can really support confidence building, emotional regulation, more flexible thinking, reduced anxiety, even willingness to try a new task. If they feel that they've succeeded at something difficult, they might feel even more inclined to try something that is more difficult. And another really important skill is self-advocacy, which we talk about in a couple other videos, so check those out if you want to learn more about self-advocacy. We find that teens who start early in their workplace skills develop a healthier relationship with work. It becomes something that's familiar instead of scary and intimidating. And their brain begins to encode workplace expectations as just part of the routine, not something that's threatening or overwhelming. And that small exposure over time leads to big shifts in adulthood readiness. So where to begin with your teen? You've already done this work of observing what you feel their challenges are. The next step is to have some conversations with them. So you can just have a casual conversation about jobs, no pressure, just asking questions. What does your teen notice when you're in the store together, a restaurant, other workplaces? What jobs sound interesting to them? You can ask them what environments feel comfortable, or what kind of tasks make them feel overwhelmed. With your teen, you can also attend job fairs or community career events. These are great low-commitment experiences. They offer great visual examples, and they help teens see some variety in jobs. This allows observation without needing to participate, which can be scary at first, and it can help build familiarity with the workplace expectations and language. Another great option is to start volunteering, having your teen volunteer somewhere that sounds interesting or meaningful to them. This is also low stakes, low pressure. Usually the times are pretty flexible and they're supportive environments. For example, they could do some library volunteering, shelving books. They could sort donations at a clothing donation place, do community events, or help out at an animal shelter. These are great because they really remove the performance pressure, which is good for skill building. If you're not so worried about doing everything perfectly, then you'll have more space to build those skills. Your teen can also try structured mini job or part-time employment. This can look like shorter shifts, very predictable role, and clear routines. You also want to make sure that the supervisors at these jobs or volunteer opportunities are supportive. So an example of a mini job or a part-time job could be laundry tasks at a community center, light stocking or inventory, cleaning tables, or simple office tasks. These environments allow teens to practice real executive functioning skills with the right support. So each step really builds to the next thing. First, you want to start with conversations, then observing your teen, or they can observe somebody else that they find interesting, volunteering, and then part-time jobs. That is kind of a good pathway to go on. And then eventually, if the goal is a full-time job, then they can continue on to that step. Remember that no step is too small. Each one strengthens confidence and identity. Remember that starting early gives autistic teens the time, space, and support they need to grow into independence. Early workplace exposure is not about pressure, it's about practice. And every small experience strengthens those connections in the brain, builds executive functioning skills, and increases confidence. So this month, we challenge you to start with one small step, whether that's just asking your teen a couple questions or thinking about what their unique challenges and strengths are. We recommend that you just take it slow and start with one little thing, and it will help you and your teen feel confident to go on to the next step. Please visit our website for additional tools, resources, and support. And remember that building independence is a journey, and every small experience helps your teen step into adulthood with more confidence. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.